Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Lighting Your Sunshine, where we like to shine a light within and empower ourselves. So today we're going to use Sacred Spirit reading cards. We've got the Keys of the Octarians and Who Are You? Oracle of the Hidden Worlds. And they're all very purpley. So let's put that over there and shake it up. Which one first? This one first. So hidden worlds, what's being hidden? Okay, so I have a box over across the room, and for some reason the number 280 is standing out to me. And like it's always been there. I don't know why 280. But first one we have is the Homeward Traveler. It says completion, reunion, and a return. I feel really excited about that return. No insights on why I'm excited, but I feel... Okay, wait. Spirit of Spring. We have freedom, action, and power. Let's just pull them all, and then I can... 8. Oh, yeah. 280. 8, 9, 10. 10 is completion. This one, completion, reunion home. Something major has changed. Something great. Something grand, I hear. So what is this one? We have living light energy with see the beauty in life. And this one kind of, it's almost, I feel like these are seeds. And then it grows into like this big tree of light. When I look at it on the computer, I get two things here. I see these as like little tombs. So like something has to be kind of put to rest. So maybe that's a completion, right? An end of a cycle. You do have to let go of something in order to bring something else in. And that's what I see is like you've already done the hard part and now there's life. So what about this life? It says see the beauty in life. Oh my gosh. And then so the reading I just did a couple days ago was about like looking in the mirror and not liking what you see. And so I think like there's been a huge shift in that little bit of time, that there's like that spark, that joy, that something finally coming back. You see the spark. I see spark. And so what do we have here? Align your universe. This one has something to do with the mind. So it says navigate distractions. And I'm being drawn. Okay, so there's someone and they're going in their head. But there's a woman over here. And she's just sitting up in the corner there. And then there's this one looking. But he can't see. He's in his mind. He's telling stories. He's stuck in the loop. There is the third eye, though. And the third eye is like, you just keep seeing visions of this person. So what about that, Spirit? Just get all the cards out. And then we can get into the story. Damn it. So I said let's get into the story, and then it started playing like Lamb Chop's Play Along. Like this is the song that doesn't end, but I heard the story that doesn't end. So maybe that's like a mental story, a mental loop, a mental something. And then for the one, hey, is there more colors in this? Yeah, there is. I just thought how perfect that like a purpley one came. So all of these are kind of like soft purples, a little bit of greenish purple, sage type colors. And then there's this one. This one's just wacky. This is the only card that doesn't seem to like flow with the rest of them. And this one started out over here. It says it's time to align your universe. Navigate distractions. And I feel like this is the end, this is that. And this one, because I turned it over, goes with this one. The colors kind of match up. So what is this one? Awesome. So this is the third wave. You can see it down there. It says that third wave. What does that mean to me? Well, there's a book, and I have talked about it on this channel before, but this book kind of like changed my life in a sense. I hated it. It made me so emotional. But so I was at the chapters at the bookstore, and I saw this book. I felt drawn, right? I was just killing time before my friend kind of came and picked me up. We were going to go to a sound bath sound bath in Banff. And actually, that was like one of the coolest days. I remember I went to this sound bath, and you just lay there and you just get bombarded with vibrations. And I walked out of there so ungrounded. I thought I was drunk. That sound had changed my everything. That I'm glad I wasn't driving home. Like, I could not have driven home after that sound bath. But we went to like this crystal store, and Banff is like a really touristy spot. I feel like there's a hair bugging me. It's a very touristy spot. And so we went there, and of course they have like cool crystals, but you can find some of those other places because they're just way too expensive and overpriced. But they do have some pieces there that are just like breathtaking. So we stopped there and we looked at that, and I just remember having the best day with my friend. And I've been thinking about that friend a lot lately. Yeah. I miss you. I know you watch these sometimes. I don't know if you're going to watch this one in particular, but I hope you're doing awesome. And I think of that day often because it was amazing. And so, yeah, before I went and done all that, I was at the bookstore. And at the bookstore, I felt drawn. I just like to go by like where you feel drawn to go, right? You can go to your favorite area and like go to and like be analytical as you go through it. But I used like my intuition and pull. And I got to this part and I just stopped. And I was like, which one of these am I supposed to? As soon as I picked up the book, something happened. And it got so intense in me, and I just started like, I wanted to cry. I felt like I needed to get out of that store now. And so I bought the book, and I just like rushed out because I was gonna have like this emotional outburst, which, if you know me, like I don't really cry. Like, you probably won't see me cry in public. I'm like, I will go home and calculate when I can cry. Showing emotions and stuff is scary. It's an Aquarius thing. All Aquariuses know this. But the book was called The 3 Waves of Volunteers. And so, do I have it? You know what? I'm gonna go find it because I feel like maybe I'm supposed to read something from it. So hold up. Okay, so this is the title of it. It's called The 3 Waves of Volunteers, The New Earth. And it's just Dolores Cannon. And so what is she? She's like a quantum hypnotherapist. So what does that mean? Well, she did hypnotherapy, but she found that she could go back far enough to like, a lot of time hypnotherapists use this lifetime, but she found that she could go even farther back to people's like past lives and things like that. And a lot of the time when it went to like a past life, she found that most of those past lives weren't here on Earth. And so there was this call that happened. So I'm actually just going to read the back of the book. I'll just take off the price tag. So it says, in 1945, when the atomic bombs were dropped in World War II, our protectors and watchers in outer space saw the Earth as a collision course with disaster. The prime directive of non-interference prevented them from taking any action, but then they came up with a brilliant plan to save Earth and assist her in her ascension. They couldn't interfere from the outside, but maybe they could influence from the inside. So the call went out for volunteers to come and help. Earth is in trouble. Who wants to volunteer? And so there's more into this. But pretty much it's just saying that, a lot of the times like Earth is just this big petri dish and we're doing our own thing. And oh my gosh, hey, look, she's just sitting there like holding it. And I was like, Earth's like this little big petri dish and they're just watching. And they can't interfere with anything that we do because we have free will. And that's what's awesome about free will. And this one says freedom, action, and power. The spirit of spring, right? We chose this life. But in the book, a lot of them got caught up in karmic choices, right? Because karma can be good or bad, right? Karma's only a bitch if you are. And so a lot of people got caught up in negative karma, and it seemed to bring them lower and lower and lower and lower. And so in this, like, I don't know how much everything is, but there were things in here that resonated so deeply that I wrote so much in this book. Yeah, I marked it all up, and I'm a person who's like, don't wreck my book. But this one, I folded pages, and this one's amazing. So you got little stars on it because that's important to me. The weary volunteer, I can relate with that. It's been a while since I read it, so maybe you can read it again. But Yeah. So you can't really influence when there's free will. And it said that the atomic bomb, the knowledge or the technology for that was meant to actually be used for good, but it was taken negatively and it wanted to like harm others. And so there became like this ripple effect that went out into the universe. And so there was a call. So this is like a star seed kind of message going on here, especially when it says homeward traveler. Most star seeds, they don't have that feeling of peace. They don't have that calm that they belong. Because as this said, they wanted to influence from the inside, so out went the call for volunteers to come help. Earth is in trouble, who wants to volunteer? So at one point, so many people got caught in karma. You're supposed to learn your lessons, you're supposed to grow, you're supposed to evolve, and some people just really weren't, and it was getting darker and darker and darker and darker. So there's a lot of souls that have come here, and you know, you kind of make your earth contract, you do all these things, right? I almost see it here. There's earth in the middle. You make your contracts, you do all these things, and you're like, yep, I'm ready to go. Have you ever watched that movie Soul on Disney? I think it's like a Pixar movie. Oh, I love that one. But that's kind of what I'm seeing. And we do it, and we know that Earth is one of the most densest, hardest places to learn life lessons. That's why so many people are trapped in karma here. And so we hope, right? We're like, yeah, I'm going to do this, and we may have all these plans, but then we come to Earth and we kind of forget them because now we're having the human experience. And so there is a need to remember that you are a soul having a human experience. You're not a human having a soulful experience. That's like limited consciousness. Like you are that soul. You're so much more, but you're having a human experience. And so it is for you to walk your walk and learn all the lessons you can. And we have this plan, and that's what our guides kind of guide us to, but we can forget. And then we can get trapped up in that karma and, you know, forget our reason why. So we always have this, like, especially star seeds who are the volunteers, they have this, well, most of them didn't have the karma to start off with. So you kind of have like a clean slate. And in that, it's hard because you don't resonate with everyone else. Everyone else seems to be trapped in these like really silly things, and you look at it and you're like, but why? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, why would you want that? And that's because your soul doesn't have that karma to kind of learn that lesson. You're kind of on a higher state. But your memory does go, and you can de-evolve. But that's what I'm seeing, especially with this homeward traveler. But something happened. So there is these 3 waves. So the first wave kind of went back in like, I don't quite remember. I read this so long ago. Very long time. Man, time is flying. I just met up with a friend today, and she's like, can you believe that it's been 5 years since we did blah blah blah? And I was like, 5 years ago? Dang, like this is even longer than that. And yeah. So I think it was about the 70s, you know, like 70s and above, kind of, maybe even 80s and above, whatever. They're like the first wave. No, not even the 80s. I feel like 70s, 60s, those kind of things, like after the war, right? As that said, the atomic bomb. So it was from after the war to about the hippie movement. Yes, that's about the time frame. They had it the hardest. And they struggled the most because they're the first wave. They're the first ones to kind of come in here and be met up against that force that was like, no, like, you think wrong, blah, blah, blah. But these ones are the ones that will stick it to the man type energy. But they dealt a lot. We call them indigo children. They dealt a lot with addictions. And now that I think about it, that's been the readings coming out these last couple days. And so you have this plan, right? You don't resonate with everyone. You feel like such a complete stranger here. But you're not alone. And I think that's the hardest thing, is to continue your mission alone when everybody outcasts you, all these things, but you still have to maintain that happy in you, right? You know why you're here, and your guides, right? Your third eye, you see things, and everyone else might call you crazy or silly. You're hearing the word stupid, but I didn't want to say it. But you're not stupid, and you never were. You actually learn. You actually have the ability to perceive things that others can't see. And then, so from there, it was the second wave. And the second wave, I want to say, was the crystal children. I don't really know the time frame, but the crystal children are here, right? The first wave kind of went and cleaned up things, right? Knocked things down. They had it the hardest. So the next one, it's a little bit less, right? It's easier for them. And then they're kind of here to have like love, right? A little bit more easier of an experience to, they hold their heart. You know when you just meet someone who just radiates joy? And I feel like a lot of this could be like the people who we say have like a learning disability. Could be like those who have like ADHD or on the autistic spectrum, right? They're so intelligent. And I was just talking to my other friend about this, about how smart autistic people are. And then she was saying that nowadays, when it comes to interviews, because they don't interview well, because we keep putting people into systems where it doesn't work out for them, right? This type of person thrives in that, but you need to come at them in the way that they're best, right? They're so smart and like to fine-tune detail. And so she said a lot of autistic people don't interview well, so they started this new thing where they'd bring in a whole bunch and they'd have this group project. It'd be like a Googler type atmosphere. And it was like they'd work on a project and, you know, see how they interact with others and kind of watch them that way. And then they pull them aside and be like, well, how are things going? And because they're comfortable in what they're doing, they interviewed so much easier, and that they could actually tap in and see the skills that they have. So that's what I see. And then the next one is the rainbow children. And I feel like that one's more actually on the autistic spectrum. I forget what the book actually said, but I feel like that's what it was kind of referring to. But yeah, there's these 3 waves of volunteers, and it's so hard for the other one, but the next one leaves space for the next one, for the next one, for the next one. And it seems like right now, as a Earth, we're coming into, people are finally meeting up with their soul tribes, their soul family. People are starting to connect, right? It seems like each one, like this is the world, each one of these souls is like on its mission. It's like a soul tribe family, and they're all alone. But I see they finally have come to this place and thrived. There's something that has been activated. People are finally being drawn together, and that loneliness feeling is no longer the path. And so the back of this one, I don't know if you can read the tiny words, but it says enlightenment. And that's what I see as this tree. It's just like something got plugged in. And so you look at this little light, you are meant to come together and plug in and share what it is that you know. Because your purpose is so huge that you're here to help the earth. There was a call for the volunteers. So your vibration, who this may resonate for. And you know what? I feel like it could be a little bit of everyone. I think having heart and having belief, and I don't know, I see someone very much stuck in the mind, in the 3D type aspect of everything. They kind of struggle. But what is true freedom? True freedom is to be unplugged from everything, that you are a self-sovereign being. I want to talk a little bit more about karma, but what about karma are they trying to tell me? It goes with this one. From the enlightenment to this one, the 3 waves, and then somehow there's like this in-between phase. And this one, perfect. I was like, what is it? It's surrender. So what about, yeah, you have to surrender to karma. So there's so many things that we've been trying to do that, like, it's dead. That looks like a graveyard to me. And to take breaks or to surrender doesn't mean that you give up, but for you to keep trying to fit in the way that everyone else tells you to fit in, that will never work for the people who are resonating with that. As I said, I picked up this book, and all of a sudden, I didn't even read a word. I felt my whole body wake up. It was the coolest experience. And I just felt like I was supposed to open a page, and I opened it to page 349, and the name of this is The Beacon, and I got drawn to right here. And I thought that was perfect for this card just from the one sentence I saw. And it says, "But do you feel like wisdom is coming into your head? Yes, yes, yes. Do you know what kind of wisdom? Yes, tracking. I have to stay in touch. It's how I communicate. Oh God, I'm going to cry again. Emotional. I miss where I come from. They came to the house because they were trying to communicate, because I swear this is ridiculous. I'm from that ship. I want to get back. Crying. I miss that ship. I'm connected to it. I'm communicating through my mind. I'm communicating through my third eye. Then a deep sigh and a sudden revelation. Oh gosh, I'm a vibration. I'm a vibration of something that's so huge. So huge. I see it. I see it. It's amazing. It's like a big strobe light. I'm connected to that. Oh gosh, it's so far. I miss it. How did you get here if you came from there? Can you see how it happened? Yes, I can. I'm blasting through on it's a million little pieces. I see it. Oh God, it's a million shooting out, very small but very bright. This sounds like the separation from source in the very beginning when it exploded all over, little sparks flew out, the sparks that eventually became our individual souls. Dang. And you know what? I feel like that's exactly what these two cards kind of look like. You come from something so big, and each one's individual. And yes, your journey may seem lonely, but you come from source, and you will go back to source. But here, homeward traveler, I'm hearing that nature, it's like these type of souls don't do well in the concrete jungle as much. They need to go out and deal with nature. But the main thing, especially with that, and look at here, it said, I communicate and I'm telepathic through my mind. I do have some people who I can communicate like that. And I always knew that those were like people part of my soul family. And you know what? That's how animals communicate. And so I think that's why the 3 waves of, like in that one with that beacon of light said, we talk through our minds. And that's why they enjoy nature more, because that's how nature does communicate. It is a vibration. And what I liked in that one little bit I read was like, oh, like how it said, you're a soul having a human experience. When they went into that past life regression, it had the realization that I'm a vibration. And then when they had that vibration, I'm a big vibration. And that's what this kind of looked like. And yeah, I feel like that's something, especially when it comes to like working on telepathy, because it is the language of the universe. You could try it with animals. And so how do I talk to my animals? I like to, you can think of a feeling or a thought, but mostly I like to take a picture, right? A picture is worth 1,000 words. And so when I'm trying to like, and you know what, if I physically, because I have a very reactive dog, but man, has he done so much growth this year. So proud of him. Coopy-doo. But if I say, no, stay, that, and he's not going to listen. But when I send pictures to him through my mind to his mind, and I show him in the picture what I want him to do, he listens. And it does take a little bit more energy for me to like focus and concentrate on that. So I think concentration and focus is key. But let's pull some more cards. I feel like this is just a message. I feel like somebody, hey, the whole purpose of this message is that somebody has been feeling so lonely. They're always like, why am I always left out? Why am I always alone? Why am I always this? Like, why am I lonely? What's my purpose? I'm always just like me wandering around in nature and like, why am I even here? But you have a purpose and you're gonna meet other people. Oh yeah, with this completion, I see the people finally coming back together and you're gonna meet that person. And I almost feel like you're both that from that same vibration of that spark. But when you meet them, I almost see it growing here on earth. So just be patient and keep working on the mind and surrendering the thoughts that you don't enjoy. Because in that surrender moment, let me actually tap in and see what it wants to say. I see a halo moment. It's almost like when it comes to like karma, I feel like, right, your thoughts become your actions, right? Your thoughts become your feelings, become the vibration, actions. I don't know like which 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's all happening at the same time. And then all of a sudden, okay, so it's almost like anytime I get energy work and someone will be working on like a chakra or something and my mind will be going and going and going and going and going. And finally I can like see it, you know, it's almost like when you're in a dream and you're like, hey, I'm dreaming, and you could stop it and control it. But whenever I'm doing something, it's almost like I finally recognize it and I'm like, okay, let's let this go. And that's where that surrender comes. And I'm like, finally I can like lay here and then just accept the energy. And then instantly they move on to the next one. I'm like, oh man, I spent the whole time. But I realized that surrender, letting go moment is the healing. So I pulled one more card and then we can wrap it up. So it is Oracle, Sacred Living, Spirit Speaking, and Intervention. Intervention? Spirit. So I feel like someone in this story that this may resonate, they kind of were going on the karmic path, especially with the readings yesterday, the karmic path, and leading up to it, I almost feel like, you look here and she's throwing things in, but there is a face in here. There's the face right there. And I almost see like someone in their crazy, wacky world doing their own things, blah, 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 blah. And it's not all like peaceful and serene like this. The mind was chaotic. And I almost see like spirit coming in and being like, enough. Because, as I said, especially when it came to like the waves of volunteers, especially the older generations, they seem to be stuck in cycles that have like drugs and things like that, addictions to, that could be anything. And it's because they had it the hardest. They're the ones that kind of came and paved the way. It took so much on them. They seem to be outcasted the most. They had the hardest time. They're the trail makers though. And so that's what I see, is like someone kind of being stuck in some kind of pattern, and spirits, like I heard, like kind of came through in the third eye and did the telepathy talk to them. They said whoever that was, it was like you heard the voice clear as day, and I feel like it may have scared someone because it was like, it was just so loud and clear. That's what I heard. It was like so fuzzy and everything staticky, blah, 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 doing your own thing. You're like, free will, I could do what I want. But I almost feel like this soul, you can do what you want. That's what they say, because they're always watching. But I feel like this soul, the only reason why that kind of came in for that intervention is because I do see a duality within them. I want to do this, but I want this. 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 And because it was so flip-floppy, that's where it was like, shoo. And then I heard a download came. They showed a vision. They showed something to someone, and it was clear as day. And so that's where I see that intervention kind of coming. It says sacred living. Spirit is speaking about coming. You came here to be a sovereign being, not to be a slave to mental loops and traps and the karmic cycles. You're here to actually help others break out of the cycles, not put yourself into the cycles. And I see a completion. I do. What was this one again? Enlightenment. There seems to be this moment where the mind battled back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And so now it's like, yes, we let you kind of go do your thing because we know you had it tough. We know that your soul deserves a break, deserves a rest, but we don't want you to kind of give up the whole mission of your purpose. And yeah, I know he said pull one more, but I don't know. They're kind of sitting on the top, and I feel so drawn to it. Perfect. So this one is forgiveness. So that person kind of went out there and, put on that tough exterior. They had to be tough, because if they weren't tough, life was gonna rock them, right? And so I just feel like I feel like someone has gotten, this message is for, well, this is for whoever's resonating for it, but I feel like I'm speaking to someone older, and they've had a tough exterior, a tough shell, and they don't feel as much anymore. And what about that, Spirit? There's that surrender moment. They keep showing the body. Doing things to the body, I feel like the body is doing okay. It's the mind. They keep saying, work on your thoughts. Because this person, it's almost that like, well, it's not gonna happen. I don't deserve it. That's not true. At the time, things weren't ready. Everyone was out doing their things at their spots, but all these things are coming together now, and you're part of it. And so I am seeing a little bit of surrendering and that forgiveness coming in for yourself, because I don't know what the vision that you were gifted to have. They're not going to let me see that, because that's your vision, that's your gift to share with this world. And yeah, there's a forgiveness. What about the forgiveness? It's everything. It's how you were treated. Forgive others for how they treated you, because to have that enlightenment moment is to know that they were stuck in their own karmic mental loops and things like that. And so we have to not be so mad at them about the things that happened to us, especially the souls that can resonate with the three waves, right? The star seeds that kind of heard the call and was like, well, how hard could it be? Well, it is a little bit harder than we anticipated. And so there's joy coming, there's celebration, and there's completion. That they really want you to see the beauty in everything. I'm seeing this as, I don't know if it's Avatar or if it's Gully. Hey, that's going to be a movie soon. I want to go see it. Actually, I think it might be out now. Wasn't it supposed to come out at Christmas time? I don't know. But when I was little, I remember watching that and being like, ooh, that's so cool. But there is always something to do with a tree and nature. So for the soul who's kind of stuck in the mind and all this and the like my shirt, just kind of colorful everywhere, I see nature will be helpful. Right? From nature, that's where you kind of learn to do that telepathic talk. You realize that your thoughts are so powerful and that other people can pick up on it too. So, I don't know, I see that kind of having that aha moment, that you're connected to everything, that there's a bigger, that you're just a vibration of source. And there's it's almost like I see source, and then I see it kind of branching off like a tree. And then each branch, and you're gonna find your branch that you connect and vibe with more, right? Some are higher up and some are low hanging fruit. And you're not meant to be on the low hanging fruit. So if you were hanging out at the low hanging fruit just because, well, it's easy pickings, I see a change coming. I see a lot of growth, expansion, enlightenment when it comes to the mind. And I see the mind thriving, and I see a lot of light, and I see a lot of joy coming. I see once that happens, then you'll finally have that clarity within your mind, and you need to surrender, right? I think first you have to forgive or surrender. I think surrender comes first, right? Because once you don't care, I just don't care anymore. Yay for you. Because when you don't care, you're not, I think that, how you overthink? It's because you care. But if you don't care, you can finally find that moment. And in that moment comes the forgiveness. And then for whatever it is, I feel like don't forget to forgive yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Let your mind have peace. When your mind finally has peace, you understand that you can take these and you could talk. And from there, also protect yourself. Right? You don't want people throwing their thoughts to you, right? Only accept what you want. But I feel like once you have that clarity, I almost feel like you have to raise it up higher anyways. And then you could talk to your tribe. The tribe's coming together. Your soul family, your soul tribe. There's going to be a reunion, a return. It's almost like a return to source, as that one said, that we came from source and then we're going to return to source. But I feel like it's going to be here. It's going to be something that's rooted but magical. Anything else, Spirit? Feel drawn to this one, which was what? Surrender? Surrender. Something to do with surrender. So when I saw this almost as like 3 little pigs. I'm going to huff and puff and blow your house down. And so in that story, they keep trying something new, right? I'm going to build it from grass and then twigs and then brick. And then it's like, that's where the kind of forgiveness comes from. It's like, this didn't work, so I'm going to try something new. And this didn't work. And it gets better and better and better and better each time. Stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. So don't be mad at yourself if you tried and it didn't work the first time. Pick yourself back up and try again, because this time might be a little bit better. And then if that doesn't work, pick yourself up again. Just always keep picking yourself up. If you need rest, take time to rest, but always get back up. And so with that, we'll leave it there. I hope you have a good day, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.